The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 145. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of real women producing extraordinary results by finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook at our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a special lady who's all the way from Singapore. She is the founder of the Chill Mom Maternity Concierge, and she also has her own blog, which is called the Chill Mom. And without further ado, I want to introduce you to Michelle Han. Michelle, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Hi, Sheena. Hi, everyone. Again, yes, I'm Michelle. I'm a former fashion model turned entrepreneur. My most recent current business helps expecting mother plan and manage the arrival of the babies. And my blog, The Chill Mom, is about looking after them ourselves as mothers and going after our dreams. And not to let motherhood be an excuse, but instead a drive to be our better selves. I also write extensively on pregnancy and baby preparation due to the nature of my business.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. If I ever get pregnant, I know who to turn to.
Please.
So, Michelle, what's your cultural background?
I'm Malaysian Chinese. My grandparents were born in China and migrated to Malaysia when they were little. So growing up, I used to listen to stories of the hardship of how they first got to Malaysia, the World War II, and how they eventually rebuilt their life and able to provide a better future for my parents and now us, the next generation. So I feel very blessed.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. And it's crazy, right? I mean, how fortunate we are. We forget that, our relatives, ancestors had to go through so much to be able to provide what we have today. So it's always, a great reminder and be thankful for what we have, the present because of them. So thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I find myself saying this a lot to my daughters who are 3 and a year and a half. Every time they're hesitant about doing something, I find myself saying, you can do it a lot. So I guess that's my favorite self-confident quote. You can do it.
I love it. And it's true, right? Sometimes we just need that little push to say you can do it, right? Because sometimes, our own minds kind of plays with us, right? They always say we are our own worst enemy. And our heads can be like, no, you can't do it. So sometimes it's great to have someone to say, you can do it, right? And just have like this cheerleader, right? Kind of like how you're a cheerleader to your kids.
Correct, yes.
So great quote. Thanks for sharing that. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
To me, we are what we think. So if we think we can do something, we usually can. And if we think we can't, we can't. So my definition for self-confidence would be the inner belief that tells us we can. Whether it's going on a holiday by ourselves or applying for the job you've always wanted or learning to drive. Like for young girls like my daughters, it could be something as simple as knowing in her own ability to put something in the trash by herself. So it's something that can be honed over time, and it takes actual action to build our self-confidence up.
I love that definition, and thank you so much for sharing that, because I do believe, belief has to start from the inside so that you can start taking the action. Because, if you don't believe in it, then of course it's not going to happen, right? Because you're just telling yourself that it's just not going to happen. So when you tell a different story, when you can start saying, I can do this, I believe in myself, I love myself enough to do it, it's a whole new game changer.
Yeah, it's all from the inside.
Yes, totally. So thanks for sharing that. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I've been very lucky because my mom had always told me that I can accomplish anything, and I believed her. So honestly, I can't remember a time when I wasn't confident. I was a fashion model since I was 16. So you can imagine that I get rejected and was told I wasn't good enough too many times in my life. But I must have been, built up pretty well by my parents, or have very thick skin, because while I get upset about getting rejected for modeling jobs, it didn't affect me for very long. I was mature enough to understand that I didn't fit into the mold that they were looking for. to understand that it's not my fault. And I always knew I have something else to offer. So I credit this to my parents who have never failed to make me feel I was special and I can accomplish anything if I put my mind to it.
I think that's great that your parents always pushed you to do whatever you want, especially with Asian parents. They always want you to do things that are expected versus things that you want to do. So like them cheering you on to be fashion model.
Yeah, they're not the traditional kind of Asian parents. They let me choose my own dream.
Yeah, and most, Asian parents, not that it's a bad thing, right? It's just they don't know any better, right? And they were just taught whatever they were taught, and they're just passing it on the best that they could. And, it's usually like go to school, get married, and get a job and work for the rest of your life.
Well, not that wasn't on their plate, but, I had something else in mind, and they supported me.
Great. That's great. So, I'm glad to hear that. And, was there any times in your life where you felt like, you had aha moments that, especially transitioning from a fashion model to entrepreneurship, were there aha moments when you knew that you could always do it?
Yeah, I think the life experience certainly helped because I've always believed that it's up to me. Self-confidence becomes a responsibility thing. I have 100% responsibility for my own life. So I cannot blame other people or the fact that I don't have self-confidence for not doing something. So if I don't start or do something I don't want to, it's simply because I don't really want it or I'm lazy and I take responsibility for that.
I love that. And it's true, right? I mean, it's our responsibility to live life on our own terms, to go after what we dream of. And yeah, if we don't go after it, it's our own fault, right? And as bad as it sounds, and sometimes, we just have to tell you like it is, and it's things that you need to hear. So
I think once you have that confidence, it becomes like it's your own.
Yeah. It's like,
it's not up to someone else anymore.
Yeah, it's up to me to get things done. So I really love that. And, what's your life like now, after like this whole journey, especially the transition from like fashion model to entrepreneurship?
Well, I'm totally in charge of my life for one. And then, self-confidence has enabled me to change the course of my life many times as well. As a model, it has enabled me to travel and meet interesting personalities. And as a young girl, it takes self-confidence as well to say no to a lot of temptations. It helped me to stay true to myself and quit modeling when I wanted to. And then I continued my studies in Australia. And then I went into F&B event management. And then when an opportunity came for my then boyfriend, now husband, to move to Singapore, I came along. And I started my own soup bar business in a foreign country all by myself. And I believe it's all due to a simple thinking of, I can do it.
I love it. And, it's just those 4 words can make a huge difference, right? It's funny. I was trying to count how many words there were in that phrase. I kind of like blanked out in the moment, but
it's a pretty long phrase.
Yeah. I mean, when you have that ingrained in your head and really believe in it and be aligned with it, anything is possible. And I mean anything, I've heard so many stories of women just doing things that, never thought was possible, all because they knew that they could do it. So I really love, that simple notion and simple perspective that you can do it. And to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What's the one tip you would give to her?
Based on my own experience, I would say start doing. Like I mentioned before, self-confidence can be honed and built over time. So the more action you take, the more you believe you can do anything. Like for myself, I believe my self-confidence was nurtured since young. So it can be mastered. Develop a habit of having confidence in yourself.
Great tip. And, I also want to point out to the listeners that, you can start building your self-confidence at any time. It can be when you're 5 or even when you're 50, right? There's no such thing as like you're too late because... we're all different, right? We all have different life experiences and, it's just start doing it. It doesn't matter what age you're at. And that's something I kind of want to like point out because, some people are like, well, maybe it's too late for me. And I'm like, it's never too late, right? Michelle, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do or check out your blog, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yes, certainly. So they can visit my business website at singaporematernity.com or my blog at thechillmom.com. And if you want to connect to me via social media, it's all, Instagram /thechillmom, Facebook /thechillmom. So it's pretty easy to find me on internet.
Sounds good. Can't wait to check that out. And to our listeners, if you would like to connect with Michelle, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Michelle's name. Her show notes will pop up, along with everything else we talked about. And I really want to thank Michelle for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you.
Thank you for having me on the show. It's been fun and it's my pleasure.
No problem. It was an honor to have you on. So thank you so much. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now.
Bye.
Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of real women producing extraordinary results by finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook at our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com.